Hi guys, welcome back to Golden Reviewer. This is the iPhone 13, and today we are going to test 3 games on this device. The brightness will be set to about 50%, the room temperature is 25, and before each test, I'll make sure that the device starts from below 30 degrees. So we can see how the device heats up in the process and how well it maintains the performance. Just as usual, I'll show you the real-time FPS and power consumption during each test. And I'll do each test for 20 minutes to show you the real sustained gaming performance. Alright, so the very first game we are going to test is Call of Duty Mobile. And in this game, here is the graphics settings. We basically set everything to highest possible and we enable the max frame rate, which is 60 FPS. Okay, so test 1, COD Mobile with max graphics. Here we go. Okay, first thing you notice after entering the game is that this is super smooth. So it's 60 FPS all the time, there's no frame drops, the performance is just wonderful. And at the bottom right, you can see the power consumption. It's usually just around 2 to 3 watts, so usually it doesn't exceed 3 watts. And this is some pretty good number. Judging by this number, I expect that the device will not heat up too much and it should be able to maintain this performance for a long time. Okay, so actually I'll show you 2 to 3 minutes of the gameplay footage from the beginning of this game, and then I'll fast forward to the end of the game, which will be about 19 minutes later, and we'll see how it holds up the performance after 19 or 20 minutes. Okay, so now I'll stop talking and let you enjoy the gaming footage.
Welcome to Battle Royale. The match is about to start. Time for the mission. Get ready. Here we go. The airdrop is coming. Chip terminal is almost ready. Airdrop has been delivered.
Right, now we've played the game for about 18 minutes, and as you can see here, the FPS is still almost a straight line at 60. So we can conclude that this iPhone 13 has no issue handling this game at all. You will get very good gaming experience with everything set to maximum. So if you are a Call of Duty Mobile player and you are looking to buy the iPhone 13, go ahead and buy it. It will not disappoint you. Now let's also test the device temperature after about 19-20 minutes. And we can see here that the maximum temperature we can get is something close to 40 degrees, which I think is pretty good. 40 degrees is not so uncomfortable to hold. It's just like warm, but it's not burning hot. And lastly, here is the FPS record from the game. And we can see that there is almost no frame drops. The overall average is 59.3, which is as close as you can get to 60. And I'll say the gaming experience was very enjoyable. I have nothing to complain about. As for power consumption, we see that the average power is 2.8 watts, which is pretty low if you ask me. And divide that by the battery capacity of iPhone 13, you get on average 4.4 hours of battery life. So I think this is pretty good. You can play the game max at 60 FPS, very stable for 4.4 hours. Nothing to complain here. Okay, our next game is Minecraft. And in this game, we'll set the render distance to max, which is 36 chunks. This is a pretty high number, and I think it will really put some stress on this iPhone. I'm so curious to see how it performs. Just like the previous test, I'll show you the footage at the beginning and at the end. So in between, I'll fast forward because we are more interested in the performance when it's unleashing its full power, and also the performance after a prolonged gaming session when it has throttled. So basically, we are talking about peak performance and sustained performance here. Okay, so from the very beginning, it doesn't seem to be able to maintain a 60 FPS. We see the FPS hovers around 50 to 60. So it seems that 36 chunks of render distance is really too heavy. And the power consumption is also not looking good. We are constantly seeing 5 or even 6 plus watts of power, and we all know that iPhone will not be able to maintain this power. So I guess we should expect some throttling to happen after a few minutes of time. Okay, so after about 20 minutes of gaming, we see that the FPS indeed dropped a lot, and currently it's hovering between 30 to 40 to 50 range. And there is a lot of fluctuation, it's not very stable. And the power is also restricted to below 4 watts, which we all know is what the iPhone can handle. So conclusion from this test is that the iPhone will not be able to play this game at max out graphics settings. And it's not about the A15. I think the A15 is powerful enough to almost play this game smoothly at max graphics. So it still comes down to thermal design. It generates a lot of heat and the device cannot dissipate all that heat, and so it throttles to a lower performance and you see frame drops. As for temperature, the highest we are seeing is close to 44 degrees. And this is pretty hot. It's actually much hotter than what we get from COD Mobile. So yes, Minecraft is actually heavier than COD Mobile. Okay, here for FPS record, we see that after throttling, it's more like on average 40 plus FPS. But for the first few minutes, when the device has not started throttling, it was able to maintain a 50 plus FPS. And then as for power, the peak power is more than 6 watts, it's close to 7 watts actually. But after it has started to throttle, the average power will be something more like close to 4 watts. And that is what the iPhone is capable of. And we all know that from a lot of tests, right? So the estimated battery life from this game will be around 3 hours. Okay, last game in this video we are going to test is Genshin Impact. And here we set everything to maximum as well. Same testing format. We'll see the peak performance when the game first starts, and we'll play the game for 20 minutes and see the sustained performance after 20 minutes. And then we'll measure the temperature, and we'll see the FPS and power record graph. Okay, so from the beginning, 60 FPS, very enjoyable gaming experience, very smooth. But here we see the power consumption is skyrocketing. It's almost 7 watts, which the iPhone will not be able to maintain. So just like Minecraft, at first the performance is pretty good, but we expect to see some throttling a few minutes into the game. Okay, so after 20 minutes, the device heated up a lot and the performance tanked. We are no longer getting 60 FPS, but more like 40, 50, or even some 30. And this is very similar to what we got from Minecraft. Again, the A15 is capable of running this game at 60. It's just that the thermal design is not allowing it to run the game for a sustained period of time. As for the device temperature, as you can see here, we are getting something like 43 degrees. And I think this temperature is the threshold set by Apple, so that whenever you reach this temperature, the device will start to throttle heavily, and Apple just doesn't want your device to exceed this temperature. Maybe it's for safety or for your comfort. And then for FPS, on average for 20 minutes we get 46, but if you only look at the FPS after the throttling, you are getting more like on average 40 FPS. And this is actually pretty laggy, so if you are going to play this game, I suggest you to either get a cooler or to lower the graphics settings, or to stay at an even cooler environment than I do. And then as for power consumption, at first we see something close to 7 watt, which is crazy for this iPhone. And then we all know that it's not able to sustain that power consumption. And eventually after the throttling, the average power consumption is 3.5 watt, which is even lower than what we see in Minecraft. I don't know why. But anyway, this is the result. And if you are going to play like this, your estimated battery life will be 3.5 hours. Alright guys, So that's all for today's video. In this video, we tested 3 games, both for their peak performance and the sustained performance, and we also gave you an estimated battery life from playing the game. If you like this testing format and you want to see more of such tests, please remember to subscribe, like, and share it to your friends. You can also let me what other games you want to see in the comment section, and if your request is popular enough, I might test it in the coming videos. Alright, so thank you for watching and see you next time.